want to talk about the ultra high net worth buyers and sellers for a couple minutes because it's something that I think you do very well and that we do very well in private office. And I know you pay keen attention to detail. Okay, you're known for this in our network, Richard, right? Can you kind of talk about maybe a situation where it took your keen attention, maybe a situation where you're able to get a client what they wanted? It was a specific type of situation, a vineyard, a ranch, anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think number one, not just the ultra wealthy or ultra high net worth individuals. Many people, have a real affinity or have an expectation of detail. So if you talk about anybody that's been successful in business, from a guy running a small food cart, let's say on the streets in New York City, to somebody that's a billionaire that has many companies and holdings, in their portfolio. For the most part, people that have been successful have a fine attention to detail. Right. I mean, I'm often a combination of being OCD and ADHD and a few other acronyms. And I don't think it's always a bad thing. I mean, for me, I think about, from my perspective, how would I want that problem or situation to be solved? And how would I want to be served? So for me, I know I love it when I roll into a particular restaurant or business, retail store or a hotel, and they take care of you. I think at the end of the day, it's about expectation. And it is about genuinely solving problems and being prepared. And, I think at the end of the day, if you don't know an answer or if you can't solve a problem immediately on the spot, that's okay. But
Right.
committing to getting back to the individual and then following through, again, whether you're bringing in a professional that's in your network or your advisory group, or solving the problem yourself. And it might not always be real estate.
Let's talk about trends. Okay. I want to talk about trends and behaviors of the ultra high net worth individuals. What do you see in store for the wealthy in 2024?
Yeah, a couple of themes. I mean, first of all, as many of you know, and I'm sure you know, and of course, in our network, we do deal with an awful lot of incredible folks that are very successful around the planet. I mean, these are a rare breed, right? And I say that with all respect. It's a majority of who I deal with, and I think the ultra high net worth especially. And one can define what that means. I mean, in different markets, it's worth different things. Essential ultra high net worth could be 30, 50, 100 million net worth plus. So we're already dealing with somebody that is breathing, rarefied air, so to speak. They typically are global in nature. They might not always be the most sophisticated person in the room. And in fact, in my dealings, and I was the co-founder of Tiger 21, which is a fascinating organization in Canada that deals with the ultra high net worth and the wealthy, an American organization. What we would often see would be that the wealthiest guy in the room wasn't wearing the shiniest watch and the fanciest suit. He or she might be somebody that was wearing a very simple set of khakis and some scuffed up sneakers and had built an absolute empire in a particular vertical. But at the end of the day, typically ultra high net worth people also own a lot of real estate. It's a segment that they invest in along with private equity that they're very confident in. They typically invest in global markets and often emerging markets. So, one of the things I would say that's in store is cash is always king. It's another thing that I learned in my time with Tiger 21 is that ultra high net worth people often always sit on cash so they can jump on opportunities. And by cash, I don't necessarily mean literally a suitcase of cash, but different than our typical buyer that is, financing through maybe a traditional mortgage or lending product. So number one is cash is king. Very typically across Canada right now, we're starting to see potentially. I always hesitate to say bottom because I'm not a predictor with any real knowledge, certainly not an economist. But I think we've definitely started to see prices soften to the point where now people are starting to say, are we going to see some rise and some lift in 2024? We've recently had a number of our central bank rates holds, so we haven't had any increases now in a number of months, which is the first time in a long time. They're now predicting that either the next or just after that bank announcement will probably be a slight decrease in rates. I see maybe not floodgates, but certainly I see the market really opening up when that happens. And generally, the sophisticated, wealthy are always ahead of the pack. I mean, how did they get wealthy? Generally because they took a risk and they were smart on something from a timing perspective, and or they really researched and saw what was coming down the road.